Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Taylor. This is Penny Miller, the Family Care Clinician here in the ICU. We thought we'd do a video of your babies. We're going to start with baby A, who's Alyssa. Today is Monday the 26th. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. All of the babies are in an isolette, and that's a hard plastic enclosed bed that we put all of our babies in so that we can observe them better, and we also control their temperature. You can see that she has a lot of nice brown hair. We did have to shave a little spot on the top of her head for an IV site. Taped to her face and going down her mouth and into her windpipe is her endotracheal tube, and that's what's hooked up to the ventilator. And that's what the tube is that Karen's hand is resting on. And that's how she's getting her extra breath. She's getting 42 extra breath per minute, and her oxygen is somewhere between 25 and 30%. You and I breathe 21%. I think Karen turned it up just a little bit because when they're bothering her doing this video. She has a very soft tube in her nose, and that goes down the back of her throat and into her stomach, and this is called an NG tube. And right now the NG tube is left open, and what we're using that for is to get out all the extra air and mucus out of her stomach. You know how hard it is, especially after you ate that big Thanksgiving dinner, to breathe if your stomach is full. She does have all 10 fingers and 10 toes. You can see how tiny her hand is. Her weight today is 2 pounds 4 ounces, and she's 14.5 inches long. There you go. And she does have all 10 toes. One of her hands, her right hand, has an IV, and her left foot has an IV. Now, the IV in her hand has a special medicine going through it to help her blood pressure. The one in her foot is for her antibiotics. Her other foot is tied down. That's what that soft cloth is on her other foot. That's so she doesn't pull out her tube. She has some little white patches on her chest, and these little white patches are hooked up to a heart rate monitor that tells the nurse how fast her heart's beating and how fast she's breathing, and at this time we can also tell what her blood pressure is. She has a special IV that's in her belly button, and this is where she's getting her main nutrition. It's called a UAC, and that'll last for a few more days. But the medicines can't really go through that IV line, so that's why she has the ones in her hand. The little knob on her leg goes to a special monitor that lets the nurse know whether or not she needs more oxygen, or whether we can actually go down in her oxygen. She is under the Billy lights, and she has little eye patches that we took off so you can see her face. But usually those are on. When they do come off, she does open her eyes and look around. I'm going to show you a little bit of the equipment, then we'll come back to her. The blue right in front of me with all the knobs and dials, that's the ventilator that's giving her her extra breath and her extra oxygen. The ones back behind are the heart rate monitor and the monitor that lets us know whether or not she needs more oxygen. You can see her heart rate's about 149 right now. And then her blood pressure is under that. I can't read it. 46/26. And her respirations are 42, which is what the ventilator is doing. And then she has her IV poles, probably similar to the ones you have. She's in a room with about 8 other babies. Nurses and doctors are here all the time. We're going to open up the side so you can get a little better look at her face. You know, we can't see her really well because of the tape on her face, but there she is. Oh, she's waving to you. We can't keep this open very long because we don't want her to get cold. She has another little knob on her that you just can't see right now, but that's what controls her the temperature in her isolette. We'll move on to baby B now. Here we are at Tara's bed. This is baby B, Tara. Val was just telling me how active she is, that probably she was the one that was kicking you the most inside, because she's been extremely active here. She's also in an isolette. She has dark hair. I think it's even a little bit darker than her sister's. The little white patch on her head is what holds her billy patches on. I don't believe that Alyssa had that, so that's a little bit different. Otherwise, she has a little NG tube in her nose, and she has the endotracheal tube that's hooked up to the ventilator. She's in about, she's in 21%, which she's breathing the same amount you and I are, and the respirator is breathing for her 30 times a minute. So she's getting a couple of her own little breaths in there. Her little hands are tied down with the restraint so she doesn't pull at her tubes, but she does have all of her fingers. I don't know that since she's a little bit more tied down than her sister, she might not be able to wave at you like she did. She also has all of her toes. She does have an IV in her left foot, and that was for some calcium that she got earlier. Now the IV is what's called Peplock, and that just means there's no fluid running into it, but we like to keep it there in case she needs some more medicine and we don't have to stick her again. She also has that special IV in her belly button, called a UAC. This is where she's getting her main nutrition at this time. And that'll last for a few more days. This is we also can draw some of the blood work off of these lines that are in their belly buttons, and that saves on their heels, because with babies we always draw their blood off their heels, not their fingers or their arms like we do with bigger people. She weighs 2 pounds, 4.5 ounces, and she's 15.5 inches long. I think I've given you just about all of her equipment. The little patch on the right side of her tummy is, I think it has a little picture on it. I think it's a lion. That's what is connected to our isolette. That's what gives us, we set the isolette at a certain temperature, and that regulates it. When she gets too warm, it cools the isolette down and keeps her pretty much at a constant temperature like your furnace does at home. She looks like she might be waking up a little bit. She has the same equipment that her sister had. She has the billy lights, and behind that is the ventilator. I'm going to come around this way and see if can we open the door a little bit?
Sure.
And we can get a better picture of this little face.
Lots of pretty brown hair.
Val is her nurse today. There she is.
Hey Tara, wake up and say hi to Mom.
His eyes are open just a little bit.
The lights are really bright, so sometimes they don't want to open their eyes too much.
Look at her wiggle. That was what was inside kicking you, Mom. We'll move on to Brother now. Oh, she kind of lifted her hand to say goodbye. And last but not least is Patrick. Baby C. Patrick is also in an isolette. You can see how active he is. So now I'm not sure who is kicking you more, Tara or Patrick. Or maybe it was Elisa and she's just so tired right now. But Patrick weighs 2 pounds, 2 pounds, 2 ounces. He weighs he weighs 2 pounds, 2 ounces, and he's 15.25 inches long. He also has an endotracheal tube. He ranges in his oxygen between room air of 21% and up to 25%. Right now he's in about 30%, but that's just because he's being a movie star. He also has the endotracheal tube and the NG tube. He does not have an IV in his belly button like his sisters do. He has one in his left arm. Now Patrick started feeding today. He gets 2 cc's of formula every 2 hours. 5 cc's is 1 teaspoon. So he's not even getting a half of a teaspoon at this point. You see he has all that nice dark hair. I think Tara's is still the darkest though. He and Tara are almost across from each other in the bigger room. Come around here and let's take a good look at his face. And he's going to kick away here. Well, those are your babies. I do hope that you feel better and that you can get over here to see them, maybe tomorrow. If you have any questions, we're here 24 hours a day, and we're more than happy to answer anything you need to know. Hi, this is Penny Miller at Children's Hospital on the Neonatal Intensive Care Unit. Today is January 2nd, 1991. We're going to be looking at the Taylor triplets. We're going to start with Tara. Tara is B. It's a much better picture, I think, than the last one we got.
She's thrilled.
She's not real happy because we woke her up. Today she weighs 3 pounds and 10 ounces and
17.
And is 17 inches long. And she's stretching to that full 17 inches right now. She has a little NG tube in her nose, and that goes down to her tummy, and that's how we're feeding her right now. She gets 1 ounce every 3 hours through that tube. That's Mom and Dad's hands there. She still has her little mittens on her hands, and if you wanted to take one of those off so we can see her hand, you can do that. We'll compare it to Dad's hand. Like, how do I do this through these holes in them? Isolate.
Then they can't roll out, though.
She's in 22% oxygen right now. We normally breathe 21%, so she's very close. She just needs that extra little bit.
Yeah, she's free.
Wait.
She did have a little bit of a haircut for some IVs, but she still has lots of nice brown hair. And that's her little hand. Ah, see, I want the tube.
Yeah, go for the tube.
So how's she doing, Mom?
Great.
She's in heaven now.
She just finished eating not long ago and she was sound asleep, and we flipped her over just for this, and you can see she really wants to go back. Get a family portrait here. Tara's still in an isolette, and those white patches on her chest are attached to her heart rate monitor. It lets the nurses know how fast her heart's beating and how fast she's breathing, and if there's a problem, an alarm would go off. And she hasn't been having any problems.
My God.
Let's come around. I'm going to come around here, and you just want to put her down. We'll open up the door. Get a real quick picture of her without the plastic.
Kenny? Why don't you writing for POB, whatever alert? Also, okay, Paula?
There she is.
Okay.
Okay, well, we'll start.
Hi.
Here we are at Patrick's bed. Patrick's wide awake, waiting for us. Patrick is baby C. He weighs about the same as Tara, 3 pounds, 10 ounces, but he's a little shorter. He only weighs 16 3/4 inches. No, he's just 16 3/4 inches long. His hair, do you think his hair is a little bit lighter than Tara's?
I don't know. It's, maybe. I think she has the darkest.
He just finished eating. Patrick gets 17 cc's, which is a little bit more than half of an ounce. every 2 hours. He's opening his eyes. He still has a nice haircut. His feedings are also done through the little tube in his nose. And he also has the little patches. Right now he's just breathing fast. And it's mainly because we flipped him over right after his eating, and we'll move him back. He's in about 32% oxygen, which is more than Tara. That's another reason why he's breathing a little faster. He needs a little bit more oxygen. But other than the extra oxygen, Mom, any other problems?
Other than he gains weight too fast some days.
Hi, big guy. Hi. Hi.
Look at those eyes.
Come on. Don't get so excited. That's it. That's it.
Hello. Hi.
Yeah. Hi.
I don't think we'll open the door for him since his oxygen's down
hot.
just a little bit and he's getting real frustrated with us.
Hi, big guy. Yeah, you're looking all around.
He has a special little monitor on his toes. So it's wrapped around his foot. And that's telling us whether or not he needs more oxygen or he can get by with less. And right now he needs what he's getting. And that's what's buzzing every so often, is us moving his foot around. And oh, we almost saw a smile there.
Come on. Let's do a smile.
Here we are with Alyssa, baby A. And she's breathing room air, so she's out with Mom right now. But she still has a tube in her nose. And how much does she get to eat, Mom?
18.
Every 2?
Every 2 hours over 30 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, look. Chin.
Oh, she smiled.
Smile.
Oh, how sweet. Did we get her length?
15 and a half.
She also has a monitor like the other two, and she's still in an isolette. Is this your first time to hold her, Mom?
Mm-hmm. Come on, open your eyes. Open your eyes. That's it.
There you go. You kind of shield her eyes a little bit. There.
You open them now? You open them all the way? Alyssa.
There we go.
Hi. Hi.
Do you want to give her to Dad for a second to hold?
Sure.
Changing of the guard, yes.
You got it.
Okay. That's okay. I'll come be around you.
Did you ever hold anything that little?
Oh.